Okay, so we are live.
Woohoo!
I'm really excited. This is like my favorite video all year.
Same. Yeah, I love this one.
Hey everyone, hopefully you had a great holiday. We are doing our 2021 Book Awards. Um, so yeah, we're excited. We love this video.
Cool. I am very excited for this one because besides our book club books, I don't really know what you've all read this year or if you've read
M-
anything else.
Me, I've read like two
Two other ones?
besides them. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm trying to think of what the other two. Well, I guess I'll find out in here.
Yeah. I tried to list like there's one book that I didn't list. That was a book that I didn't read on here. Otherwise, I think I got every book that I
Nice.
read. Yeah.
I was definitely looking through all the books that I read and was like, you can tell that like there's like just like series chunks of like which ones I liked, and then everything
Mhm.
else was like meh.
Yeah,
Um,
same. And that's the problem. I think we should add like some meh books in here, like books you liked, uh like favorite book that you gave 3 stars.
oh, that's a good one.
Because I actually have one for that.
Uh, Future us to add that in
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, like a book that's like meh, like it was good, we liked it, but it wasn't like a favorite.
Yes, yeah, I like that idea. That way, it kind of features. Sorry, I'm changing my lights.
Yeah, some of the more like average books that we read.
Yes,
Hmm.
that is not like going to be like a standout, but that it should still be mentioned,
Yes, yes. Exactly.
or like a book that flies under the radar type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's kind of how I felt with this book. Like I really enjoyed it. The one that I'm thinking of, it doesn't come to mind when I read like your favorite book
Yeah.
and female protagonist and stuff like that.
So this is going to be usually a long video. So
Hmm.
feel free to, before we start in on it, go get some tea, go get some snacks, and feel free to put your answers into the chat and stuff with us, because it's always a lot of fun, and it's always more fun to see what you guys say too. You may influence our TBR
Hmm.
too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So do you want to kick off? Has how many books that you've read this year?
Oh, shoot. Yes.
We prepped all of our answers, and the first answer stumps Gabby.
Yeah, I 17 books.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you have a newborn and a
Yeah.
baby, I feel like 17 is,
Especially
and some
one
of
that
them
is
were
now on the
long.
move.
It's telling me like my average book length was 436 pages. So, I mean, that's like,
It's big
I did
books,
not
yeah.
realize that Goodreads, oh, you cannot see that. Well, apparently Goodreads does that now. It'll tell you your shortest book, your longest book. Oh, that's well, technically my shortest book is a graphic novel. Anyways, it'll give you my average, most popular, least popular, and average book length. My longest book that I read, I disagree with that one. I'm pretty sure it's a different book. I don't know if Goodreads is accurate.
Do you think Empire is bigger than
I thought
Silver
so.
Flames?
Speaking of which, okay, we cut out. Okay, we'll get to it when we get to that question. We cut out one, but we shouldn't have. Let's see.
Oh, for art, favorite art.
Yeah, yeah,
I forget there's art in there.
I know, and it's amazing.
That's fair.
Oh, it is bigger. Goodreads is correct. I'm gonna have to change that.
So, um, I read 83 books this year. I had a much
Shit,
better I had a
girl.
I had a much better reading year this year than I did
Your like
in
last 5 years
last
put
year.
together?
No, last year
Jesus.
I did 51, and then the year before that is my average usually is between like 70 and 80. It seems to be.
Wow. You're insane.
I also do a crap ton of audiobooks.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
do. And
lot of audiobooks.
you also read a lot of graphic novels.
Yeah, although I didn't read that many this year. I was definitely want to do that um more this next year.
Mhm. Mhm.
Before we I'm trying to figure out. I have this like mini ring light, but it just seems so intense. Maybe I'll just like dial it down a little bit so I'm not
Okay, look, I'm gonna change longest read because apparently
cool.
with 757. All right then. Okay, I should be good to go.
Cool.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
what is our first one here?
Your best book. So favorite all around book.
I I think we probably have the same one of this. Oh, I set my books up here very stupidly. I set them like standing up to see all the titles, and now as soon as I take one, it's all gonna topple. Yeah. I mean, of course it is.
It was
We
so good.
are trash for Sarah J Maas. There
Mhm.
needs to be like a t-shirt or something, honestly.
Trash
But
for mass.
yep, trash for Sarah J Maas, yeah. But of course this is our favorite book of the year. No
I'm
one
really
should
sad
be
that they
shocked.
didn't keep the covers like the original, like the other ones. This cover kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I get it. Like they changed the covers to just like have it a distinction between these are no longer in YA and these are in adult now, and
Mhm.
they moved the category for it. But they really could have done better than this.
Yeah, the other ones are just, I mean, oh, you can't really see them. The other ones are just so gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I much preferred the dress. Oh, there goes the book. It's fine. You guys have now seen it. um and I'm not going to lie, most since I did most audiobooks this year, I'm going to be doing a lot of like showing on my tablet
Yeah,
to show you the covers because
I
I
read a
don't
lot
have a
of,
lot of these.
yeah, I think I only bought like 3 books this year. I did, like
I
physical.
only and I work in a
Everything's
bookstore,
been,
y'all, and I only physically purchased for myself like 35, which is very good for me.
yeah, yeah, 3 books. I purchased 3 physical books. I did purchase a lot of ebooks. Most of our book club picks were ebooks and then a few audiobooks. But this is my year where I've read the most ebooks, like on my Kindle.
I wish I could get into ebooks. I just struggle so hardcore with it.
I usually
Um,
don't have too much of an issue.
but
I've been
35,
struggling with audiobooks.
mm, that 35 is including audiobooks too.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that's pretty good for me because I have 130 unread books on my shelf that I need to get to that I'm determined to get to lower this year.
I've honestly gotten rid of a lot of books that I have not read. I have like
I need to
maybe
do
a
a purge.
handful. I have
Yeah.
maybe a handful of books. Um, okay. So obviously we gave A Court of Silver Flames 5 out of 5 stars. We did
Yes.
do a live show on it. So um, if I am good and I remember, I will try and link everything, all of our live shows in this video down below.
Kudos to you if
So
you remember to do that.
yeah, I'll try. I'll try.
Okay, so the second one is what's the second prompt?
Best
Best
standalone.
standalone. So what's yours?
So I only read one standalone this year. Everything else is in a series or is like a first in a series. So I actually went with One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston.
Oh, right on.
Yep,
I is that a standalone?
I think so. I don't think it's a series. Just like Red, White, and Royal Blue is a standalone.
I know Red, White, and Royal Blue is a standalone. I thought they left open One Last Stop,
Oh,
but
well
I
then
don't know
I
for sure if they're still writing.
interesting. Well then, if that's the case, then I don't have any other. Well, no, I did read another standalone, but I didn't like it.
Well, we'll
So,
keep
well,
that
we
for
read
now
it.
until
We'll reread
until
it. It's gonna be, oh, it's probably coming up in like number 6. So,
okay. Um so mine is The Girls I've Been. Can you see
hmm.
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see that actually very well.
Okay. I really rave about this one, and I think I may have at this as another prompt too. This is one that was one of my highly anticipated reads of 2021, and it did not disappoint. This was such a cool book. So it has bi representation in this, which is very important for me. But mainly the plot of this is the girl here is her and her mom are basically they are con artists. Like she's grown up being different people to con people out of money. And in this situation, she is in a bank when bank robbers attack it. And so she is being held hostage. So she is analyzing all of the movements that are happening because she is also like like she's a bad guy too. So she knows how like
Oh,
the enemy is thinking and to like try to get out. And so
that
and
has
then
to be
like
so cool.
it's such a good like the way that it is written is amazing. The way that it's formatted is amazing because it's like 15 minutes in and it like breaks it down like the chapters are like how long she's been detained. And it's she is in there with her current girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend. They went to the bank together and her sister, her sister? No, her yes, her sister because it's her and her yeah, her sister is on the outside. And she is like working with the cops or she's like in law enforcement, I think. All of it's great. I think yeah.
I might
It's
have
been
to
a
check
minute
that
since I
one
read it,
out.
but it is such a cool story and it's so fast paced and I was like I think I read it within like 48 hours of picking it up because
Really?
it
What's it
was
called again?
The Girls I've Been.
I'm curious if it's available. It has about 7 weeks, but I might
Oh
place it on
man.
hold.
Seriously do it. I and the audiobook is amazing for it.
Really? Okay.
I was like recommend this book all the time at work because it is so
Really?
good and
Okay.
so fun to like listen to and I was like
I'll
on
place
the
it on
edge of my
hold.
seat listening to it.
Really? Okay, I would just place it on hold. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Okay. So, well, I guess my books are going to be very like we basically did book reviews on these. So, One Last Stop was my favorite standalone. It wasn't one of my favorite books of that we've read, but as far as like standalones, I was between two because I've only read two standalones this year. So I picked One Last Stop. I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think we mentioned this. Our biggest gripe about it was like the time traveling aspect and like the ending. We felt like it wasn't very plausible, like creating a black, not a black hole, but what did they create? Like um a tear
Like
in time,
yeah.
and yeah, so we had issues with that. So that was like one of my biggest, like, I guess, reasons why we did give it a 4 out of 5 stars, I believe, or 3 out of 5 stars. I can't remember. It was like a 3.4 or 4, something like that. Um, but the romance was really good, and I did enjoy the characters. It had really good representations. The roommates were really hilarious. I loved her roommates, but yeah, I just had a problem with like the whole plot of time traveling and stuff.
Which y'all know that's one of my pet peeves anyway.
Yeah. Um,
I think we're at most
okay.
disappointing read, right?
Is it most disappointing or least favorite?
Yeah, you're right. Least favorite read.
Okay. So I have two
Oh boy.
because one I DNF'd and you're going to be shocked. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so my least favorite read, this was trending on TikTok. Enough so that my stores tried to get me to order it in for them, and I like my Barnes Noble did not want to carry it. Like they couldn't carry it with the author rights, whatever. So I couldn't get it in. But I was curious of it, so I checked it out of the library, and it was such a bad book. Um, Eat, Pray, FML. This
I
is
remember you talking about it.
yeah, this one is like kind of a biography slash humor book. Um basically like this girl who is an actress, that I don't know who she is, but she's like her not a very famous actress, obviously, but she finds out her husband was cheating on her, ends up getting a divorce, goes on her like eat, pray, love like mission basically. And the entire time it was people recognizing her or something like that, like while she's like in other countries and like having these weird romances that were not good. And it just ended up being like a look at me, I'm so like people recognize me, I have things so easy. Like there was no moral to the story besides that she moved on from
So
her
is it a
divorce.
self-help? Is it fiction or is it nonfiction?
No, it's nonfiction. It's like a biography slash humor book. But it was
Oh,
like
but you don't know
I
the actress.
yeah. But I was like, I don't like people I guess were toting about like, oh, this is such a good book of like getting over and women power or like empowering or whatever. And
Mhm.
I don't know. It was not good. Her entire time she was complaining about her divorce and then like screwing over all of these men like while she was dating around in these different countries and then just like a privileged person basically like traipsing around and it just was like what was the point of this book? Like why did you write this? It was
Mhm.
bad. I do not recommend it. But that was my least disappointing because why was this trending on TikTok? Like what are you people doing?
Interesting. Okay. I do remember you talking about it. I think you mentioned you talked about it in one of your early vlogs.
Yeah.
And you said it was kind of vulgar, but like not in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have two. One of them I DNF'd, which I'm shocked I did. I couldn't get into it and I gave it like 50 plus pages, but it was the tourist attraction.
This makes me so sad.
I don't know why. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like okay, the male protagonist just seemed very odd. Like I couldn't put my finger on him, why I didn't like him, but I didn't like him for some reason. And then I don't
I mean,
know.
did you even get to meet his dog?
Yeah, of course. Yes, I did. I gave it like a good like 75 plus pages. And it just like I just it's not necessarily that I DNF'd it on purpose. It was just like I rented it off the library and I was like reading it and I would read it like a little bit every night. And then I just like couldn't find myself just like wanting to pick it up and keep reading and it just like expired from the library and I was like honestly I'm okay with not finishing it. So, I
So
know.
sad.
I
You guys don't
know.
listen to her. It's a good book.
I believe you. I maybe it was just my state of mind at the time.
Or it could be the ebook because I did. audiobook, and so
Ma
maybe it's a totally different reading
It could
experience.
be. It could very well be it. It could very well be it. But I did because the audiobook wasn't available yet, so I did the ebook off the public library. So, um, and then my next, um,
I should have known that was it though.
yeah, and then my next, what my least favorite read was, let me see if I can get it to pop up. Shipped.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
can't.
almost brought that up too.
This is by Angie Hockman. I can't even tell you anything about this book. I can't tell you the names. I think I slightly remember the premise. She is like a social media communications, and she works for a company, and they sent her on a cruise to promote like their cruise line. And they sent her because she works in the social media department. They sent her on their cruise line to promote the cruise, and she happens to go with a new employee that she doesn't really like. It's like a hate to love, and then
Yeah,
she
they're
also goes
both
with her
going
sister.
yeah, they're both going for this promotion and they both have to basically pitch how they would like up the
That's it.
tourism for it.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I just it wasn't memorable,
Yeah.
in my opinion. It was just,
Which was extra bummy because we did that as a book club pick this year.
yeah, and
Because
I
we were
think it
both
was
like,
like
"This sounds great," and we were like, "Man, that
yeah,
just was like meh."
yeah, I think it was like a February read too, because we were like, "Oh, it'd be really cute, Valentine's Day, February, it'll be easy." I had just had Kira, it'll be like a easy way to, like, swing back into, like, reading, and it was like, meh.
Yep, yep. Even the romance wasn't like
Yeah, it
good in
was
that.
just like yeah, and it was just full of, like, that miscommunication trope, which is, like, one of my
Your
biggest
biggest, yeah.
pet peeves is the miscommunication trope, so I just meh.
Yep, I feel that.
I think my mic just cut out.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, what's the next one here?
shortest read.
Oh, so I I'm gonna count this because Goodreads is counting it, but I did. I was just it was December. I wasn't having a great reading month. I just picked up like from the library like an ebook of it, and it was Giant Days, the holiday special. It was
Oh,
47 pages. It was not. I mean, it was little like issue
that's
volume,
cute.
but yeah, I just because I actually finished and completed Giant Days this year. Very sad because there's no more. So
That's
I
a
was
feat.
like, I need my comfort read again. So
That's
I
cute,
picked up the
though.
holiday one.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was really cute.
That's cute.
Yeah. And I never read it because it was like completely separate things out of the volumes. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cute. So okay, mine is telling me that okay, Goodreads is telling me my shortest read was Zara Hussein is Here, um, with like less than 300 pages. I think it's like 200 and something pages. If
I
I
believe it.
let's see,
It is pretty tiny.
250, 256 pages is telling me, but I thought Heartstoppers would have been smaller because it is a graphic novel, but it's telling me Zara Hussein is Here
How big
is
is
shorter.
Heartstoppers? I mean, that one is
I
pretty
don't know.
chunky because they only put like a few panels per there's a lot of white on pages, so
Mhm.
maybe that's why.
Maybe, because there's a lot of, like, scenes that don't have words. So anyways, either way, um, I had Heartstoppers because I just assumed, but it is saying that Zara Hussein is here. So, yeah. Which Zara Hussein is here is also was also another book club pick. So,
Yeah.
as a book, 256 pages is quite small. So,
Yeah.
um, Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up covers and it just wants me to link it, which is
Oh, I don't
annoying.
know if I showed it. Zahra Hussein is here.
I actually really like that cover. I think it's really cute.
Yeah, I do too. I liked the tricolor, like just like it being red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
Sorry, red, black, white.
I knew what you meant.
Hmm.
um, and then the longest book, which ours is both the same
Hmm.
for A Court of Silver Flames
It
at
beats Empire, 757 pages.
yeah.
And it beats Empire of the Vampire by like 20 pages.
Oh, so pretty close.
Yeah. Empire of the Vampire was 730 or something. Yeah,
So
757.
our next one is most disappointing read.
Okay, so
So
I already kind of go ahead.
yeah, mine is A Game of Fate by Scarlet St. Clair.
That's an awesome cover though.
Ugh, this book. I love this series. I really enjoy A Touch of Darkness. This is the Hades and Persephone books
Oh,
that are
yes.
fantastic. That's
You keep
all on
telling
TikTok.
yes, yes,
This is
yes.
not a good book. Like this. So what it is the whole series is from Persephone's point of view. Game
Mhm.
of Fate is from Hades' point of view. Normally,
Mm.
I would be all about that. Like, give me the Twilight version of shit. Like, or the Edward version of shit. Like,
Midnight Sun.
yeah, I want that, like, in my life. So I was really excited for this one.
I loved Midnight Sun.
So this one was so unnecessary that I think I DNF'd this one. I
Really?
finished it. I finished it because I was like, it was so tiny.
You're usually pretty good at pushing through.
Yeah, this one was so extremely vulgar for a smut book, extremely vulgar, that it was like not done tastefully. And I get like you're trying to write from a man's point of view, so maybe they're more vulgar in their head or like carnal or whatever. It was done in poor taste. It was like, this is not attractive. This is not like written well. Like, there's no development here. Like, there's no, like, we got nothing from Hades' point of view besides a lot of unnecessary, like, vulgar for being vulgar. Like, that's the only reason why they did it. And I was like,
Yeah.
don't read this. Like, I'm pretending that's not part of the series because it's
Oh
like
gosh.
a sub one. And I'm like, I tell people, I was like, you don't need to read that. Like, just
Like
skip
even
past
if
this.
you think it's cringy, like we've read some cringy
Yeah.
uh romance,
Like,
but
I read a
like
crap ton of romance. I'm not,
yeah,
like, a prude with, like, vulgar things or,
I don't
smut, and
I
it
don't
was
shy
bad.
easily. I don't shy easily.
Yeah,
But when it's like written just to like yeah, I see what
for
you're
the
saying.
shock factor, yeah. And it's just like, why was that? That is,
Was it kind of like degrading a little bit as well?
um, so I don't know if it was necessarily degrading, but it's just was very, like, objectifying,
Mm.
um, that it was just a lot of, like, oogling at her and that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And the Touch of Darkness series is actually done very well. Like, it's very like there's a plot. It's not just smut in those books, and there's like
I
a
wonder
whole
if they
world that's developed. Like,
told her that she had to like amp it
they're
up and add that.
self-published. They are self-published.
Mm,
So she chose to do that.
mm. Okay,
So
never mind.
yeah. So, like, the Touch of Darkness series is great because they have, like, a full plot line of what's going on. They've developed all of the, like, Persephone has her own plot lines, Hades has his own plot lines. There's a whole well-developed underworld. There's a whole, like, university that they have based around the god system. Like,
So besides
it's
just it's not just smut.
yeah, it's very well done. Yeah. But this was bad.
Oh no.
Okay, I will stop
Okay.
ranting about that one.
No, no, you're good. So we kind of already touched up on this. So we all know, and if you're not new to my channel, hi, my favorite book is Red, White, and Royal Blue. So I had massive expectations to One Last Stop. Don't
Oh,
get me
yeah.
wrong, it's not that I didn't like it, I did, but the same thing, like the whole plot, time travel, and the ending, and just the whole like creating a rift in time, and it was just
It was
I
a lot in one book.
yes. And so I believe I rated it a 4, but like the more yeah, I did rate it a 4, but the more I think about it, I'm going to drop it to a 3. Um because like it's just I just keep thinking about how like disappointed I am, and I was just really expecting to like love it, like
But I
I
don't think that's the book's fault. I think that's our fault for going into it because she had such big shoes to fill because she knocked it
yeah,
out of the park with her debut
yeah,
or their
yeah,
debut.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's hard to like love their first book and then feel
I
met about
know,
their second book. It feels
I
like you've
know,
fallen. It's the same way
I
we felt
know,
about Crescent City. I'm sure that Crescent City is not as bad as we made it out to be.
yeah,
But we
we
were just
just
expecting so much from her.
yeah, but yes, yes, and I will go on, yes, yes, so that's pretty much it. I was just like I had really high hopes for One Last Stop just because Red, White, and Royal Blue was just so freaking good.
Yes. All right. The next one is
The
oh,
cliffhanger that broke me the
y-
most.
you know what? And I did have an answer for this one. I
I
wrote
have
it
one. I have one.
down. Go ahead and say yours because I
The
was
Poison
iffy on
Heart.
it. Yes, I actually did Kingdom of the Cursed.
Oh, yeah, I was between the two. But because I have Kingdom of the Cursed and a couple of others, um so I added the Poison Heart because even though I felt like the Poison Heart had a little bit more of a punch in the gut than Kingdom of the
I'm
Curse,
so ready for the next book of
just
that.
because of everything. I'm not going to discuss the ending because obviously
Spoilers.
you may not have read it and you're
Yep.
not here for like spoilers. But the ending, just like a handful of things just happen at the end where you're just like, what? This and then this and then this and then it ends and you're just like, I'm
Yes.
sorry, what? So I just it tipped a little bit for me than uh Kingdom of the Cursed.
So I did Kingdom of the Curse because
That's a good one. Yeah, I was
it,
between the
yeah,
2.
yeah. Also, side note, I'm getting slightly distracted. The author of the Poison Heart tweeted out today actually. So I heard y'all like YA thrillers with like the I am like emoji thing, and I was like, or the meme, and I was like, oh my god, like, can you imagine her writing a thriller because of how like she's already done like she already gets you on the edge of your seat, not in a thriller, like in a fantasy. So I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
yes, give it to me.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh, um, so the next one is favorite new series.
Okay, I'm cheating on this one.
I also have doubled this one.
Okay. Well,
So
I'm
mine,
cheating because okay, I did too because we technically read Kingdom of the Wicked in January. I did the exact same thing. Okay, thank you. I'm glad we're on the
yep,
same page.
yep, because yeah,
Yes.
it works. And I've like
Yes, guys.
reread all of this stuff, yeah. But
Yes.
that's
Yes.
definitely
Such so good. So good. So good.
yes, cool.
I'm glad we're on the same page. I felt like it was a little cheaty, but I was like, "You know what? I don't care. I don't care."
um, oh, favorite comic. So
Okay.
this one I'm kind of cheating on because I rewatched both of our 2020 and 2019 live like the book awards,
Mhm.
and I mentioned this one in one of my previous ones, but I hadn't finished it And so, like, I mentioned it without finishing it, and I was like, well, I've technically finished it this year, so I'm gonna talk about it again.
Do it. Ooh, Harley
Harleen,
Quinn.
yeah. This is by Stepan Sejic, and this is phenomenal. It's so well written. It's so, like, artfully crafted because, like, everything is just so well thought out. Like, look at this.
I love the color. Not suitable for children.
No, oh god. But I mean, if you're going into a Harley Quinn novel thinking it's suitable for children, that's on you, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on. But like all of it is so artfully crafted in here,
Oh, I
and it's
love
just
that. I
it's
love dark
beautiful.
colored um graphic novels.
Like, look at that. Like,
That's really
I
pretty.
just I love this so much.
Yeah. I might have to
So
read it.
it's so good. Yeah. So I definitely had to mention this one.
Do it. So I only read one graphic novel, but I actually read all 3 volumes that were available, and I believe the 4th volume just came out. That is
Yeah.
Heartstoppers by
Yeah, it's
Alice
so cute.
Osman. It is so freaking cute. Oh my god. I read through volume 1 in one sitting, and then I was like, I have to continue. And then I read volume 2 in one sitting, and then volume I honestly read, I think, all 3 volumes in like 2 days.
I
So cute.
let the hold expire and I still have to read 2 and
Oh.
3, so it's checked back out and I
Oh,
will finish it.
it's so cute. Okay,
I kind
3
of thought
is
that might be
not
your I kind of thought that might have been your cliffhanger because you're like, "Oh my god, I need to read the rest of them," because it ends on a
no,
cliffhanger.
well, it's not like if I mean, I want the next one 'cause I want more, but
Yeah.
it's not like the Poison Heart cliffhanger. Um, the 3rd one is actually my least favorite. I think I
Oh.
only rated the 3rd book a 4 out of 5 stars. Um, okay, don't get me wrong, the 3rd one, um the author added a lot of representation, like a lot of different things. Like it talks about eating disorders, it talks about um it's got like all of the different LGBTQ
All
representation.
the gays.
Yes, it talks about I don't it mentions like mental health. Um, but I feel like I don't know if the author goes by she, um, but um, they just tried to cram too much in my opinion. I wish that the all of that representation had been spread out throughout the different volumes because it's just like bam all of a sudden oh this person has a potentially eating disorder and now this person's depressed and now this person's dealing with anxiety and this and it's a lot to throw in to a
Sounds like a
one
very
volume.
heavy emotional
It's
turmoil.
it's a lot to throw in into one volume. I wish it had been spread out. It was just too much. I love the representation, but just too much of it.
Yeah.
It was like the publishers told her like you need to put all of this in there and it was like all right, let's just do it all in one. Like I just felt like it didn't go too much with the story as much.
And
Um
maybe because, like, the first at least the first one that I read, I haven't
it
read
was
the
very
second
like
one.
heartwarming. It wasn't
And,
heavy.
like, fluffy. Like, I mean,
Yes.
it tackles, like, obviously being
Yeah.
gay, but it's more like a fluffy relationship feel good novel, and it
Mhm.
sounds like the tone of the story just flipped.
Yeah. Yeah, which I mean that's fine. Like we need to discuss those sensitive issues. It was just too much for one.
Yeah.
Like, pick a couple and then maybe put it in the next one. I don't know.
Fully develop the other ones, like, give it
Yeah.
their moment versus crowding it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Does that
I
make sense?
also yeah, totally.
Okay.
I also wanna mention, like, obviously, I finished Giant Days, so Harleen was, like, besides Giant Days, obviously. So, because I put that in here. Oh, I forgot another graphic novel. Well,
Oh, go get it.
I'll just look up the cover. because we are on most bizarre read. So do you want to go with your most bizarre read?
Oh, I thought we did favorite art. Well, I'm throwing it in there. Favorite
Oh yeah.
art. Guys, like, oh, like
Yeah.
seriously, like let's just find a good one. I mean, they're all good, but like, come on, not suitable for children. But
Not suitable for children.
the art in this is just, oh, I can't. I can't. I had to like go back and look at the artwork when reading it. Well, because I physically read and I listened to the audiobook, and I had to go back and look at view the artwork. Okay, most bizarre read.
So
I have mine. Snot
Snot
Girl.
Girl, Volume 3. I'm officially done with this series. It's
Yeah.
too weird for me.
I'm
I
you.
tried to keep going. It's too much. Like, we already have the unreliable narrator, which I guess is fine. And I loved the art style in here, which is what kept me going. But it was too weird. And once you get to level, like, volume 3, and you are still asking, what is happening? Like, no,
Yeah.
I need some type of clarification. And it's like, I have to break up with you because I can't take all of this, like, turmoil that you are putting me through, like, trying to figure out what's
Mhm.
going on with you. Like, no.
That's fair.
So I'm officially done with it, even though I love the art style is stunning.
Yeah, that's fair. So, okay, tell me what you think. I don't know if it would count as bizarre. I don't know. But I did Forest of Stolen Girls.
I saw this on my red, like, on my lineup,
I
and I was like, what was that about?
Yeah, and I remember being really confused when we read it, and I don't particularly remember how it ended. I don't necessarily know if it was bizarre, but I was between 2. I was between this one and I was between, A Lesson in Vengeance, because that one
Mm,
got a little bizarre at times as well.
I would say the Forest of Stolen Girls because that's the one where it's like historical somewhat and travels back, right?
Yeah,
Travels
yeah, it's like
to the other
it's
lands and
I think
like
it's historical fiction set in China?
yes, I do remember that one. That one was weird
Okay.
because there was a lot of like what's happening in this
Yeah,
storyline. I don't know
yeah.
if it's bizarre, but it was definitely like
I was very
confusing to
I
read.
remember being confused multiple times, and we actually listened to the audiobook of this one, and I remember, like, constantly having to rewind and at the time, I think we enjoyed it when we did our live show. We said it was very atmospheric, but
Yeah.
now that I go back and I think about it, I'm like, I'm confused all over again.
Yep. I
So,
think that's fair.
I think that yeah. Bizarre doesn't mean bad, though.
No, no, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you liked the book, that's fantastic. I was confused, and it could be on us for, like, listening to the audiobook.
Yeah. And I know people like that's the same thing with the Snot Girl. Like
Mhm.
people are really into it. I just don't know how you magical people are into it and like
Right.
being confused that long. Like I don't know how
Exactly.
you deal with that.
Yeah.
Number
Uh,
11 is best audiobook. Yep. I almost picked this because
really?
I almost said because remember this is the one that I was like you need to listen to this as an audiobook at least for the first like beginning part of it cuz the audiobook is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
You
But
picked the same one? Oh.
I actually picked The Girls I've Been, the one that I had originally showed you, because of the way that it is told, and the way that it's written too, obviously, because it's like 15 minutes in, like, and this is
Mhm.
where we're at. They're blockading, like it like takes you scene by scene, and it like is it
So the
makes the
audiobook did, like, the book justice.
oh, yeah, and, like, the pacing, like, it makes it a fast-paced book because of the way that it is written slash the audiobook dealt
Mhm.
with it. Highly recommend.
Okay, I'm excited. I put it on, uh,
Yeah.
hold. I'm excited. Um Okay, favorite cast of characters.
Um,
All right, guys, I'm becoming very unoriginal in the next few questions.
oh,
I just can't. There's just no like I can't. Like I wanted to pick another book, but like Cassian and Azriel and Nesta and the house and it's just guys, like I this is just my favorite cast of characters.
so I was trying very hard not to pick multiples. So I did. Whoa! It just jumped me into the book. Um, sorry, I'm fighting with my tablet here to show you the dang covers because I can't just click on Google Images without it. You know what? I'm gonna go to Goodreads because this is not working out.
And so for me, we're just going to go ahead and go in 13 and 15. So 13, 14, 15. Favorite cast of characters, favorite female protagonist, favorite male protagonist. We're just going to go ahead. Okay, guys, here we go. We got Nesta and Cassian and then everything. So I'm done for the next couple.
Oh my gosh, Gabby.
I just I couldn't choose. I just kept going back to it, and I feel like it would just I didn't want to be dishonest.
I mean, fair. Like they definitely outrank the ones that I'm gonna show you, but I was
Yeah.
trying to be different.
And guys, I read like 10 books this year, so I mean, it's really hard to like beat.
Okay, so my favorite cast of characters, and I want to preface this by saying I saw this a while ago and I was like, this looks dumb as shit. Like, I am not reading this. And then it just happened to be available at the library when I was looking for an audiobook that day. And I was like, all right, why not? And then I ended up binging all four of the books in the series.
Is this the
So
tourist attraction?
no, that is
Oh,
good. I was not expecting to enjoy these as much as I did. Um, and I understand that it looks dumb, but it's not as dumb as it looks.
okay.
The Bromance Book Club.
Oh, you kept telling okay, that one I'm actually okay. That one sounds very good. That's another one I've been meaning okay,
So I'm just building Gabby's TBR now. So
let's
this
see.
one, it had to be this one for my cast of characters because all of the boys in here are hilarious. And if you guys don't know what this
Okay.
one's about, there
It's
is
on
a
hold.
like perfect. There is a group of um baseball players where it starts off that they are all in a secret romance club where they learn how to like be better for their women. And this is definitely written like for the women that read this. Like this is like right up, on a silver platter, like the opposite of a male gaze. This is a female gaze of like this is written for the women to, dream about, right? Um but this was hilarious because what's great about these is that the romance in here is
It's
yes.
available. I just
the
downloaded
romance
it.
the romance in here is great. The first one is like a woman
I love the
feeling
smut
neglected.
color. The cover of like smut on the book.
Oh, yeah. So what this is the first book of this is about a woman who has two twins and she is feeling neglected, not feeling like really in love anymore. And so her husband has to romance her and he has to learn how to romance her because they like jumped into kids and jumped into like him traveling. So they never really got to like nurture that romance. So he is reading, like the book club is reading a historical fiction, like historical romance, and they are taking cues from the book to
Oh
help
god.
him romance
Oh
his
god.
wife again.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited.
And each book that so there's four books, I think four total in the series, and the book club reads a book that is similar to what's happening in like the other story. So you're going to hear about the book and then you're going to hear about like what's happening in this too. And all of them are great. Like they're like, dude, how can you do this to her? Like it's like kind of bro-y, like obviously
Mhm.
in the book club when they're talking about it, be like, don't make such bonehead moves. Like this is what you need to do.
Oh my god, that's
It's
really
such
funny.
a fun time. And yeah, so
I'm
I had to
excited.
definitely pick this as favorite cast of characters because it's a riot listening to them.
I feel like that's gonna be really funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Okay, so the next one is favorite female protagonist, and this is one that I already talked about a little bit, but let me show you the cover. This is
I,
not the
I just feel
cover.
like a broken record.
You're all right. Okay. Oh my, that Game of Fate. That's a whole damn series. That's
Oh,
horrible. Don't read that. It's technically a whole different like series. It's the Hades saga. But anyway, it's the Touch of Darkness series.
mhm.
I don't know why I can't find the normal cover of it cuz all I can find is the weird cover for it. Um but this is the style of it. This is the second book in the series. Um Persephone, she's great. She's like very spunky, I guess.
Oh,
There's a lot of sass to her. Like she's not
mhm,
afraid to like speak up for what she wants and shut people
mhm.
down, and she's great. I really enjoyed her.
Yeah. I also I was also going back and forth. I also really, really loved Amelia in Kingdom of the Cursed.
Oh yes.
She's a really good female protagonist as well. Um, so and then also, I was going back and forth. I also really liked, Breezy's is it Breezy's or
Oh,
Breezes? Breezy's?
Breezes.
Breezes from The
Yeah.
Poison Heart, but do remember the ending feeling like she disappointed me just a little bit, so I was like, I can't put her as, like, my favorite female protagonist, but she is a
Yeah.
really good female protagonist. She was, like I was between those 3, like, between Nesta, between Amelia, and, Breezes because, um, all 3 of those girls are, really, like, pretty badass.
Yeah. And I like always I have always been a Nesta fan even when people have like she's unlikable. I'm like, yeah, she's supposed to be. Like women
Her
don't
world
have to
got
be
turned upside
likable.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
just got turned
She's
upside
allowed
down.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, especially, like, now reading it in her perspective, I
Yeah.
get why she was so pissed.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, but also, Feyre has never been my favorite female protagonist, and I've mentioned this a lot. Even though I love the ACOTAR series, Nesta's never been my favorite. I mean, sorry, Feyre.
Hera.
I've
Yeah.
always liked the side characters better in the ACOTAR
Give me a more
series.
book, I'm telling you.
Mhm. I love her. So,
So,
um,
favorite male
male
protagonist for
protagonist.
mine,
Is that
the light.
Heartstoppers? Oh, no, Stay Gold. Mm.
Stay Gold by Toby McSmith. I I did not know what I was getting myself into when I read this book. 5 out of 5 stars. This I was like I was listening to this as I was like doing things for work and I was like tearing up and I was like I have a meeting in like 20 minutes. I can't be crying and I do not cry for
No.
books and I was like this wrecked me.
Oh,
Oh,
God. So
but in
maybe I'll
like
stay
the
away?
best but in the best way because it was so like heartwarmingly wrecking. Like
Mm.
in my feels. Oh, because This is a coming of age love story with a
Mm.
transgender boy in Texas. And
Oh.
yeah, and it was so well done. And it's like an own voices book
Mhm.
too. And so it just, I really loved Pony and like the tenacity that he had. And um just like God, I'm gonna start like tearing up thinking about like the end scenes because it was so like it's so good. You guys just
Okay.
need to go read it because it's so good and it like I'm just gonna I can't talk like it's coming of age teen love story about a transgender boy who's going stealth at his new Texas high school and a cisgender girl who is drawn to him even as she is counting down the days until graduation. Perfect for fans of David Levithan, Becky Albertalli, and Jenny Han. It is,
Mm.
I mean, go into it with like warnings of that there's a lot of triggers that happen in this.
Okay.
So be aware that this is a rough book, but it's in a such a good way. Um but there's dead naming, misgendering, transphobia, homophobia, lesbophobia, LGBTQ slurs, outing, pressure to come out, physical assault due to gender identity, forced exposure due to gender identity, suicidal ideation. There's a lot going on in this book,
Jeez.
but it is so good. Like easily 5 out of 5 stars. It definitely is like one that's going to stick with me. And so I definitely had to pick Pony for my favorite male protagonist and this has been out for a little while, but I I cannot believe that it has a 3.88 like average because it
Mhm.
is phenomenal of how it I just highly recommend
Okay.
it. I would be surprised if you didn't cry
Oh,
because
yeah. I'm a
I was
crier.
like tearing up.
I'm a crier, you know me.
Oh, I yet again did not grab it. Okay. Book that would adapt well on screen. What did you pick?
You're gonna like this one.
Yes!
Wouldn't this be so good on screen?
Yeah. But I also think it kind of already is because it's very similar to Practical Magic.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Practical Magic?
No.
You should watch that and have
Okay.
that in mind because
Okay.
there's so many same themes um and like they're witches in Practical Magic too.
Okay.
And like there's like magical elements to things like
Yeah.
with their cooking and whatever.
Oh, okay.
Obviously
Yeah.
different and
I
they're
just
sisters, but they've got a lot of the same dynamics.
yeah, I love the cooking element in here. It would make for such good TV. Like people love cooking shows, you know? And then I also feel like the romance, one of my like gripes about it was that I felt like it wrapped up a little too well, like too easily. And like the romance was a little rushed, but that would make for a great movie because in a movie you have to rush it. You can't have characters court for 5 years,
Yeah.
like or like however long 500 pages worth in a movie. You have essentially an hour and a half to 2 hours to put together a beginning, middle, end. And so I feel like this would be such a good, especially with like the beginning scenes, like the everything that happens with not Sydney. Yeah, Sydney. Everything that happens with Sydney, like I feel like that could be like such great thrill and anticipation, like
Yep.
with her and
And
like
like
especially
without
that scene.
spoilers, the photograph scene.
Yes, yes, like this would adapt so well on screen.
Yes, I agree. So I chose Lesson in Vengeance.
Hmm.
I thought this would be so cool because we have that kind of unreliable narrator
Hmm.
and like it was already so atmospheric reading
Yeah.
it that I'm like, "Oh my god, that I would love to watch that." Like that's like the perfect fall like
Yes.
movie to get you in like in the
Yes.
spirit and stuff and it's like, "Oh my god,
I
I would
agree.
love this."
I agree. I agree.
The next one,
Favorite?
sci-fi slash fantasy.
Are you
Oh
impressed
yeah.
it's not A Court of Silver Flames?
So I actually put on here, besides Kingdom of the Curse and Court of Silver Flames, I chose this one
That's a good one.
because I
Yeah.
haven't mentioned this one yet, and I am absolutely in love with this one too, and it's stunning and beautiful, and I the whole story is great.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. Um, yeah, this one's very sci-fi fantasy. Yeah. Well, we all,
Totally.
yeah. So, absolutely, really liked Empire of the Vampire for sure. Usually not a book that I would go towards. Like if I had known how heartbreaking it is. This is not a happy book. So if you're going through a hard time in life right now and you need something lighthearted and upbeat, this is not Twilight.
I think that is gonna be so memorable. I will forever think about this book, and then you texting me while you were reading it. Oh, this is not a happy book, and it was like, Gabby, what did you expect? But I will
Yeah.
always think about that when when I look at that book.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was gonna be like off the bat like bad. Well, I don't know.
It's
It's
J.
just
Kristoff.
yeah. Well, he wrote Illuminae with Amy Kaufman, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, but that's also not a happy book.
Illuminae, yeah, it is. The Illuminae files? Oh no, it's
It's
not.
not.
No, it's not. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. By the
So,
way, I never finished the third of Nevernight. I need to. I'm just
me
like
either.
dragging my
Oh my
feet.
gosh. So I like when I was watching our book awards, I was like, "Oh god." Like we both talked about like how we both needed to finish the third one. And I was like, "I don't think I've ever done it." And I was like, "I don't think she's ever done it either because we know what's going to happen in the third one and we've never maybe that should be a book club book
Maybe
this year
force us to
to,
read it.
to get it." Yeah.
Maybe
By
for October.
yeah, but by now like I would have to go back and reread the
Yeah.
first two again. I mean, we've got them on
Uh,
audiobook,
Well,
so
no, the first one stuck with me really well. I don't remember the
yeah.
second, but I remember the first very well. Um,
That was, the second one was your answer for biggest cliffhanger last year. Last year? 2 years ago?
oh,
2 years
probably.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next is favorite thriller.
So, my favorite thriller, I only had a few thrillers this year, which is kind of
Mhm.
unlike me. I usually have a few good standout ones.
Yeah.
This one was not a favorite, like, it definitely is not a 5 or maybe not even a 4, but this one is
Mhm.
my probably my favorite thriller, and that is The Project by Courtney Summers.
Oh, yeah.
This is the cult one
Yeah,
that
that's
was
why I didn't read it.
yeah, was real weird. It's definitely like it's definitely a thriller. Um, so what happens is she has a sister and her sister basically is into a cult. And she is a reporter and so she kind of goes and investigates the cult and then gets tangled up in the cult and there's
Mm,
some missing people and like her I don't know if her sister I don't want to spoil anything, but I think she's trying to find her sister.
okay,
Um,
that would make sense.
yeah, and so that's why she's going to investigate the cult. And it gets I mean, cults are weird. Cults, I mean, just in general of how much they can like fuck with people's lives. Um, and so that one was just a wild ride to
Yeah,
watch someone dive into what's happening and kind of see it firsthand.
yeah. So, I I would consider this a thriller. I did A Lesson in Vengeance. That was
I
like
don't
it
know
was
if it's
like
a
thrill-esque.
yeah, it's definitely dark academia, and I would definitely be a mystery.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know, it could count.
otherwise, I don't really have a thriller then, like, apart from maybe Empire of the Vampire. there's definitely thrill in it, but there's no,
Yeah.
like, psychological,
Yeah. I think
um
A Lesson Binges is probably the closest.
yeah, I do too, because there is that, like, psychological thrill with it, you know? Um, and
Yeah,
so
there definitely is, like, there's heart-wrenching, like,
yeah, and there's
moments
some,
in
like,
that one.
very suspenseful scenes, so I thought it was, like, the closest to a thriller that I've read.
Yes. Especially with, like, all the hauntings and stuff, I would count, yeah.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, mhm. Did you read an I did not read any nonfiction.
So, I have a note here that I was like, "Favorite nonfiction." I read 2 and I have 0 favorites. I'm not talking about either one of them because they both sucked.
Okay,
So,
lovely. I love it. Alright,
um,
favorite romance then?
you need to read this. Hold on, I gotta pull up.
For your favorite romance?
Yeah. Again, another one that I love recommending to, like, everybody that will listen to me, AKA you need to read this one, Gabby.
Okay, guys, I didn't read a lot of books this year, so my favorite romance, like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't read a lot of books, so I can't say, like, as far as, like, rereads, I did reread some books, so I take it back. I reread, like, a handful of books, but I tried not to do any rereads. So, as far as my favorite romance, I have to choose Nesta and Cassian.
So, this almost beat this was almost my favorite audiobook. I would also count this as one of my favorite audiobooks and my favorite romance,
Mhm.
The X
Oh, you
Talk.
keep telling me about this one.
It's so good. It is
Okay.
a oh my god, guys. And it's about a radio show, so it's like a podcast style audiobook that like talks out like on air and stuff. It's so good.
It has to
This
be
one,
such good sass.
oh my god, it's amazing. Okay, so the premise on this one is that she has been with this local radio show trying to save the radio basically. So she's been with the company forever. He has never done radio before and he just gets hired on. They're trying to figure out ways to like get more money because they're like it's a dying business, right?
They're trying to up their ratings.
Yeah, because they are like quickly going out. They're gonna lose
Mhm.
like their slots and stuff because they're not drumming up enough business. She comes up with an idea of being like, oh, of being like, why don't we get two exes to come on to give relationship advice. And meanwhile, they're always in business meetings, like bickering anyway, and everybody knows they hate each other. And so they're like, that's a great idea. We love that. But the hiccup is we don't actually have two exes. So they have to pretend on air that they're exes because they already fight like an old married couple anyway.
Oh my
And so they
gosh.
have to
Okay.
pretend that they're exes, giving out relationship advice on air. So because they have to pretend like they dated, they have to do the whole fake like um kind of fake dating trope where they like have to like interview each other and like get to know each other so they know all that info and they have to like be out and like have like make basically like have to make sure that people actually think that they were together so they have to
Mhm.
like take photos and like
Oh
build
my
up
gosh.
their
They have to
story.
make this whole ruse.
Yes. It is so good, and they, like it's, like, true hate to love. The sass between the like, both of them is so strong. Oh,
Just borrowed it. I've
it
got
is
a lot
I
to
may
read.
re-listen to it. I may I have so much checked out already right now, but I seriously is I listened to this at the beginning of the year, and it takes place in Seattle too, so I'm, like, Pacific Northwest
Ooh.
vibes too, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is one of my favorites, and I'm like,
Oh,
I shove it in everybody I can.
I need to read it now. I'm getting really excited.
Yes, it's so good.
Mhm.
Okay, the next one is the best relationship. So I took this as like the healthiest, not like because like we like some romances that's got some toxicity in it, like that's
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that it's the best relationship. So that's how I took this prompt.
Yeah, I picked one very similar.
Okay, so go ahead and do yours.
I went with Breeze's moms in The
I
Poison
almost
Heart.
did that.
Yeah,
Because I was like,
I
they're so wholesome.
their romance is so freaking cute, and like especially when like um her mom falls into the poison ivy and then Mo is like,
Yes.
I guess I gotta go, and like just the way they banter, and Mo's like, you're not really
About the
cooking
cooking
breakfast, are
too.
you?
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is, I'm sure everybody has already heard about it if you're on TikTok because it is like one of the most hyped ones on there. Um, and you know that it's a healthy relationship, so you know everybody should know I'm not about to say Colin Hoover because we all know Colin Hoover is toxic. Um, but that doesn't mean you can't still enjoy toxic things. But a very wholesome like relationship, the love hypothesis.
Aww.
This is super cute. It's women in STEM. It is also a Kylo fan fiction. To, like put to this is basically
Aw.
Adam Driver. Um, it's so cute. So he's like the crotchety professor that is not like old. He's like the hot crotchety professor that's like grumpy and very like analytical. And
Mhm.
she like ends up having to like they end up fake dating and get thrown into like this fake dating to convince her best friend that it's okay to date her ex, because they both like are into each other, but they both won't date because they're afraid that she's not over him.
Aw.
And so she's like, no, no, I've moved on. Like I'm dating someone else. It's really okay that you guys date. Like, like I, even though they were together for a while, they didn't care. Like she didn't really care about him. And so that whole thing happens, and this is just very wholesome. There is a trigger
And
warning for a sexual assault in here,
okay.
just a heads up, but it's very minuscule. But yeah, it's very cute.
And I love settings in college. It's one of my favorite settings.
Yep.
You
So she's like
just
a grad student, I think.
perfect. So
Yeah.
apparently, like romance, this was your year of romance.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. And it like I think I read 27 romances and
Oh my
25
gosh.
fantasy, so it
Yeah.
just beat out my fantasy.
Yeah. Um, okay, so favorite new author.
What did I pick for this?
So mine's really hard because obviously a
Oh,
lot of these are authors that we've already read, apart from just a few. So I really couldn't choose. So I have to go with Kaylin Bayron because I had never read
yes.
anything by her. I loved her writing style. I also went with Victoria Lee. I hadn't read anything by Victoria Lee either. And then I also loved Sarah Addison Ellen. So this is actually my top one, because it
Yay!
just reminded me so much of like Nora Roberts. And you guys know Nora Roberts is one of my favorite authors. So her writing style is just, if this book had been like maybe 50 pages more, I would have just loved it so much more. It was just those last like 40 pages that I was like, I wanted more. It's like it's not a bad
You need
thing.
to read the second book.
Yeah, I do. I do. So I absolutely loved her writing style. It's just so like very much Nora Roberts and very much like right up my alley when it comes to adult romance.
Yes. So mine is a repeat. Mine's Rachel Lynn Solomon, which is the author of the X Talk that I just talked about.
Nice.
Um,
Um, best book cover.
Again, I forgot to grab this one.
There's so many amazing book covers, but I'm actually gonna go with Kingdom of the Cursed.
Mm,
I love this book cover. There's just something
so
about it.
I wanted to choose something different because I was this close to choosing this Poison Heart because I love it so
Yeah,
much.
I've literally
Um,
gone through every single book that I've gone through every book that we've discussed. So
I just think this is
that's
so
pretty.
damn cute.
That's really
Um,
pretty.
Written in the stars, it's got the Seattle background. It's got it's a female
That's
female
pretty.
relationship. It's got the stars, and this is the whole story is that there is uh they're setting up, it's like a kind of like a blind date type of thing for she gets set up, and one is it's a somewhat of a Pride and Prejudice like nod, because there is um it says with nods to Bridget Jones' Diary and Pride and Prejudice, because it's Darcy and
Oh, I
Elle.
love I love Pride and Prejudice. Oh my god.
So
Love it.
they run the company, like they don't, but one of them, her brother runs this company called One True Pairing, and it's like a dating app that you have to take a long. It's not like Tinder where you can just swipe it. They have to like it's fully dived in, but it's all about astrology and like pairing up your astrology signs. And we have Darcy, who is, I think it's, yeah, Darcy, who is very analytical, doesn't believe in astrology, like doesn't want any of that stuff, and then Elle is like all about astrology, and so they're very opposite people
Mhm.
getting set up, and it's real cute, and that's why
Aw.
like Written in the Stars with astrology, it's all very tied in, so
Mhm.
that's why this is gets one of my favorite covers.
Aw, I just realized that I never added that I reread, um
Red, white, and royal blue.
no, why it is not in order. I reread the,
Vampire, yeah, yeah, the
what's it
silver
called?
shadows.
Yeah, the Golden Lily.
Yeah, but you read the Silver Shadows
Yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I read it in one night. I stayed up all night reading it. I don't know why. I just felt like rereading it.
Because it's good.
Yeah. Um,
Oh yeah. So
that's a good
speaking
yeah.
of,
Oh, rereads.
I mean, I have to talk about it every year. I mean, nothing will be ever. If I'm rereading that, that's what I'm talking about that year. Like,
So
come on.
I reread this book and then I finished it and then I reread it again.
In true
So,
Gabby fashion.
yep. Um, okay. Books you didn't get a chance to read. This one I'm really excited for.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm really excited because I devoured the first two and I read them in like one sitting, and I should have read this when it came out in November and it was on my radar, and I'm glad that I waited because I actually got it 50% off at Barnes& and Noble.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
I'm super excited to start this one. It's like uh, I'm actually not going to put it up so that I can start it.
We should buddy read that
Oh yeah,
because I also need to read it.
or we can make it uh
A book club.
we could
But if
make it a
it's
book
the
club.
third in the series, I don't know if people have read it.
You're right. Let's buddy read it.
Yeah. Um, This one has been on my radar for forever, because it's all over TikTok, and so this has been real popular. People are saying it's
Mhm.
fans for J Maas, so we decided that this is going to be a book club book.
Yeah,
So
I've
this
already
is going to
started
be
it.
our February book club book. So if you haven't already read this, or if even if you have, feel free to come join us, and this is going to be a fun time discussing this. We'll also be on Gabby's channel discussing the first one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Um, so like I said, I've already started it. It's really good so far. Oh, I also didn't get a chance and I wanted to, which was Every Way the Wind Blows, which is the third book in
Oh
the Carry
yes.
On. I was just dragging my feet. I'm curious what the reviews are. I actually haven't read any of the reviews yet, just because Wayward Son wasn't my favorite, even though I love Carry On. So I'm just kind of like dragging my feet. Um,
That's another one that we could also reread, like, or we could read together. Because I never read Wayward Son because you were like, you read it so fast, and we're like, I'm so disappointed. And I was like, oh, I don't want the
it
hurt. I'm
just
not
okay.
gonna read it.
Okay. Once again, it's like one of those things where like kind of like One Last Stop or like Crescent City. The first one is so freaking good that when the second one is a little bit different, um, it's not what you're anticipating or expecting. So it's not that the book was bad, it's just that it wasn't what you were expecting with the first. So the second one dives into like harder topics, a lot of like mental health issues, whereas like the first one is very much like just it's just so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. So it's like one last stop, like we were expecting more red, white, and royal blue, and we didn't get that. Same with like Crescent City. It was very, very different than what we've read. And so different doesn't necessarily mean bad, but when you're going in with such high expectations and you're going in for like the sequel of one of your favorite books, it's like it
It's a
just
tall order. Yeah.
yeah, it's a letdown, when it's not what you wanted necessarily.
Yes. I can get
So
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But we could definitely like I would have to read Wayward Son and then we could jump into
Yeah. I
that
would
one.
honestly have to probably reread Wayward Son as well because I didn't I don't really remember a lot of it, and also like I don't like that miscommunication trope, like and
Yes.
it's very much in Wayward Son is like strained relationships, miscommunication tropes all over the place, and I was just kind of like, ugh.
Easy
So
fixable problems if they would just talk to each other.
yes,
Yeah. And then our last one is most anticipated, right?
yes,
Or most looking forward to.
yeah,
I actually have two, and they're both book club books
really.
that we're gonna be doing this year. So God, they better live up to the hype. And they
Hmm.
both have stunning covers. Look at how
That's so
goddamn cute
cute.
this is.
That's so freaking cute.
She gets the girl. I'm very excited about this one. Rachel Lippencock and Allison Derrick. Um, and this is actually they're a couple and they wrote this together too. And I'm just like, oh god,
Oh,
that's
that's
so
really
cute.
cute. That's really cute.
Um, the premise is she's all that meets What If It's Us in this swoon-worthy, hate to
Oh.
love YA romantic comedy. And I'm just like,
I hope it's good. I've been so disappointed with YAs lately. So disappointed.
yeah.
YA
Um,
contemporary, to be exact.
this one I believe they're both trying to get as the two embark on their five-step plans to get their girls to fall for them, though they both begin to wonder if maybe they're the ones falling for each other. So it
Oh,
sounds like they're trying to like get other like they're trying to like set up the other person and they end up setting up themselves and like
that's
falling in love. And I'm
cute.
like,
That's
"Oh
that'll
god,
be fun.
yes."
That'll be
Yep.
fun. That'll be a
And
fun read.
then the second one is a sequel to the one that we've already talked everybody's
Oh,
ear off
uh,
about.
what's the title?
It is
I can't remember.
This Wicked Fate
Yeah,
is what it's called. Let me
the
pull up the
cover's really
cover.
pretty.
I was gonna say, have you seen the cover?
Yeah,
It is holy crap, so pretty.
I love the. Oh gosh, yeah.
You
Hmm.
guys, do you see that they're holding hands in this one too? Like at the bottom, and I'm like,
It's gonna be a really good one.
I'm so excited for this one. I may like do a reread of The Poison Heart right
Love
before we
freaking
read
this
this.
cover.
So stunning. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's definitely one that's like, okay, I have to own that.
yeah. So I'm really excited for that one. I'm also really excited for The Nobleman's
Yes.
Guide. And I mean, this is kind of a cheat. We don't necessarily have a release date, but I believe the fifth ACOTAR is coming out. Well, they call it the fifth one, which is the
Does it?
sequel to A Court of Silver Flames. It's supposedly supposed to be released in 2022, but we don't have a title yet. I have no idea. But she's good about releasing a book a year, but she
We have Crescent City
released
coming out though, or
yeah,
Crescent
so
2.
you're right. So then we probably won't get the fifth one until 2023. Um and I'm like of two minds with the second of Crescent City. It's like what is it? Something it's got a better title in
Sky
my
and
opinion.
Breath.
Yeah,
House
it's
of
got
Sky and Breath.
the House of Sky and Breath. So like we do know that like she's such a great world builder. And so I'm wondering if like this I think I will read the second one just because I'm curious to see if like it expands. Cause like ACOTAR versus ACOMAF were like
That's true.
So it could very much be the same thing. So I'm gonna give it a try. And so I am kind of excited for it. But I feel like if I just read at my own pace and it's not a book club pick,
Yeah.
maybe
Maybe
I'll
it'll be
enjoy it.
less.
Yeah. Hmm.
And to be fair, we always just call it Crescent City because that's like what the series is called. The first one is called House of Earth and Blood.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, pff, okay.
But
I
it's Crescent City.
okay. Um. So yeah, I think 2022. I am excited. Lots of fun books.
Yeah.
I plan to read a lot more this. I would like to double what I read. So I think I read like 17. So double that. That'd be
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. But
My goal is to physically read our book club books
that's a good
because I
goal.
always get a better, more enjoyment out of it once when I physically read it
Yeah.
than for the most part. For the most part.
From Blood
Um,
and Ash is a good audiobook though. I'm actually really enjoying it, and that's saying a lot if I'm liking a fantasy audiobook.
I'm kind of surprised that
Yeah.
you. I mean, it's technically romance, not fantasy.
But I mean,
Technically,
ACOTAR, I guess, is romance, but that's fantasy.
that is in fantasy.
Oh, is it really? I'm okay.
Yeah.
From Blood and Ash is absolutely fantasy.
Hmm.
It's very much fantasy. There's romance in it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not contemporary. It is set in a fantasy world. It would be I honestly would maybe consider it a little bit of, and then there's like supernatural too.
Yeah, but that can be in fan or that can be in romance section.
That's true, but I don't know. You tell
Contemporary
me.
is more in fiction.
You're right. I don't know. I picture it more fantasy,
Hmm.
but you let me know.
It's shelved, like it's categorized as romance.
Romance, yeah.
But that could be
Interesting.
that that's where people look for it.
Yeah. And
So
so
that's
and I
why
also think Jennifer L. Armentrout is more of a romance author.
yeah,
So like Nora Roberts is a romance author, but
romance.
she's also written some like sci-fi fantasy stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I'm getting more fantasy vibes. Like I was shocked that it's like in the romance section. But I don't know. I might just be naive, not
Hmm.
know.
I'm just surprised that you like the audiobook so well
Yeah, I do
on
actually.
a
I very much
fantasy.
do. Yeah.
Right on. Well, I think that's everything. Leave us comments down below on what your favorite read is. We love looking for
Mhm.
that, or if there's anything that you think we should do for book club books, because
Yeah,
we are always
absolutely.
open to options.
Yeah, we can always change it up as well. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We really enjoy these. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do like a mid-year one we were
Yes.
discussing. So like in July, that would be a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah, we'll probably do like the mid-year freak out or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.
Bye.